plants left, and you get 2 actually, so 500 sets left. Final quantities of the season, you're going to get 2 plants for $27.20, and these really truly bloom late spring, early summer. So when you're waiting for color to happen, probably in about, they probably have to be in the ground already, but anyway, typically on a yearly basis, you would get these blooms towards probably the end of May, early June, right?
Bare root, which we'll get to a little planting demo in a minute, because I know this can be a little bit intimidating for people. But when this ships home, it means that you're going to get flowers faster. And so you'll definitely get shoots this year, and you will definitely get flowers this year. What you see here is more like year 2, but bare root is so much easier on you and easier on the plant.
Yeah, so let's talk about these. Okay, so tell me about this, because honestly, this was one of those plants that I really don't think I'd ever seen before.
Oh, I love them. They are what we call a native perennial. So they're actually native to North America, which all you need to know about that is that means it's going to grow easily in your backyard with very little care from you, very little input. Once it's established, it's heat tolerant, drought tolerant, and it will bloom these gorgeous periwinkle blooms, which is such a sought after color in the garden, Mary Beth. This blue color is something we're always striving for, and these are that pale blue, star-colored flowers. The thing about Bluestar that I really love, number one, let's go for this picture, is this dark green foliage. So as it's coming up in our gardens, right now it's coming up in my garden, it's this leathery, dark, almost purple foliage that pops up in spring. And then, of course, in the summer, you're getting these gorgeous star-shaped flowers. But then in the fall, and I think we have a picture of it, it is this golden yellow. The foliage just turns this bright yellow, reddish amber yellow. It's beautiful. And that's what we're looking for when we're designing our gardens. We're looking for plants that look good in 3 or 4 seasons, because we want to do little work with perennials. Perennials are that plant that come back year after year, but they typically only look good in 1 season. So we're trying to do our best to pick plants for you that look good, that really maximize your space.
I love that. Unfortunately, we don't have that picture, but the picture you painted in my mind was excellent. So I love it. Now, let's talk about this. This comes as a root. Look at how many roots this has. I mean, and you're going to get 2 of these. So how should I plant them? Tell me about that.
Cousin It here. It's very funny, this little root ball, but look at, when we talk about bare root, if you didn't hear that, it's going to be so much easier for you to plant this than it is for you, let's say, to dig a hole the size of your plant. And it's also easier on the plant. It's going to get established more quickly. So the only thing you need to know is that you want to cover up the entire root ball. And Mary Beth, you have some stems sticking up there.
Yes.
So you want to leave those stems poking up out of the soil.
Okay.
You may have just half an inch or an inch of stem. That's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay if they get dusted with a little bit of dirt. That's no problem. But you want to make sure that entire root ball is there under the soil, and then you water it in, and that's all you need to do. It will take care of the rest, because those roots are ready to run. They're ready to move outward. And you can have this plant in a container if you want, or you can put it in the ground.
And how far apart should they be? Because you're getting 2. How big do they get when they're fully grown?
They get to be, I'd say, about 15 to 20 inches wide. Okay. So they're a nice, decent size. So if you do want to plant them together, or if you're thinking about getting multiples, that's native perennials in our garden. Give it a little bit more of a wild look. They're tall and stately. So I don't know about planting these in a hedge. I'd say plant these in maybe a zig if you're getting a couple sets, because I know your garden beds, you maybe want to make a little bit more of an impact with this beautiful big color. You're getting 2 sets. I'd suggest planting them in a bit of a zigzag pattern.
Interesting.
So that they can really make their full, while they're that wide, I do want to say that they can get to be 30 inches tall. So they are a plant that gets to be a little bit more substantial. So think of them for the middle. They're more of a medium-sized perennial.
Interesting. And here, by the way, we brought out the big container. This is their button flower booster, and you get 100 of these. And this makes 1 gallon of fertilizer. So you get enough to make 100 gallons, as you can see right in there. And the beauty of it is, it doesn't really have like a short shelf life. So if you don't use them all this year, you can use some more next year if you want to. My husband loves these. He just actually honestly takes like a gallon, like a milk jug gallon, and fills that with water and pops one of those in, and it'll dissolve, and then you can just pour it on whatever you want. But this one is going to be beautiful green foliage. It's something unique and different, and it's what I call like these bright blue star-shaped blossoms, but they're in clusters, so they just have a really fun look. In the meantime, I do want to tell you the lavender is yet to come, and the lavender is sensational. That's what they call it, and there's a reason, because it's very